makes computers really different, because of which these kind of ethical, what we're calling ethical issues, ethical dilemmas that they arise, right? Is it something unique about computers which is making us raise all these questions? Can we deal with it in any ways that have already been created, right, in other disciplines or for other kinds of technologies? So there are broadly two views in which people think about it, right? The first view is called machine ethics, where the idea is that you want to embed some ethical principles into the machines themselves. So the machines will figure out themselves, right, what's the right thing to do. But this is not that straightforward, right, because machines are ultimately built by people, and their biases and values can get encoded in the machines, right? So this is where we're saying that the objectives which are encoded in the algorithms, right? That's one example, right, where the biases can get encoded, right? We'll also see data-driven algorithms, which are machine learning algorithms, right? Over there, these biases exist in the data on which the machines are trained. So if the data itself has these biases, then algorithms trained on the data also reproduce those biases, right? So that's one view. So the second view basically says that well you can't really just dismiss the whole thing by saying that I can make machines more ethical. Ultimately, it boils down to humans. Here, one angle says that computers are not really adding any new ethical questions. These are ultimately these technologies, right? The questions are similar to what people have been dealing with for centuries on like freedom of speech and whether technology promotes equality, right? So these are the broader political economy kind of questions, right? But others say that computers actually make some problems more intense, right? They some problems are transformed, some new ones are also created. So technology, computers, for example, make mass surveillance possible. They make automation, industrial automation, much faster, which has ramifications on employment, on which skills are more valued than others. So there are a bunch of different views from which people approach this. That should ethics be encoded in the machines, or is it more in terms of humans? And then what principles that humanity has discovered should really be used to improve and build upon some principles that have already been created. This paper that you should definitely look at, it's called What is Computer Ethics, right? It's by a person, James Moore, and one of the founding kind of papers on thinking through, right? What is it that makes computers different? Because if you're able to understand this, then it'll give us a pathway, right, of how should we think about changing the situation. So he talks about three things that make computers somewhat unique from other technologies. And if we factor these principles into how we think about managing computers, designing computer-based systems in a better way, then it'll be very useful, right? So one is invisibility, where the idea is that things which are, as more and more computerization comes into the picture, and then these technologies often disappear, right? They become invisible. You don't even know that certain decisions are being taken by computers, and they might be making mistakes, or they might be influencing your thought processes or your freedom of choices that you make. So that's one characteristic of computers, of invisibility, which raises all sorts of issues. The second is what he calls logical malleability. So this is what, when we were talking briefly about datafication and informatization, right? So potentially anything that you can actually convert to information, computers can do something with it. And that becomes important because you can basically encode whatever objectives you want. You're basically just limited on the input and output side, right? On the input side, you're limited by what all processes can you actually encode. And on the output side, you're just impacted by that whatever computation has happened, how can it be connected with the rest of the natural world? And in between, right, it's up to you. So you can do whatever you want, whatever computations you want, you can encode whatever objectives you want. So it's really a general purpose tool, right? It's a general purpose technology which has pretty much no limit in terms of how you want to apply it. Right? It can, so that's why it's called malleable. The technology can be applied in very, very malleable ways, and which is what makes computers very unique. And the third is social impact. These systems can have a very large social impact based on the scale at which they're now used. And we mentioned Norbert Wiener, who created this whole field called cybernetics, right? So the interesting thing is that many issues we're seeing with machine learning, right? That when the machines learn from data, they can make mistakes, right? So Weiner warned about these things way back, that you ultimately code policies into machines, but learning machines also learn new policies from the data, right? And this can lead to knowledge gaps in machines because it depends on what data has gone into these algorithms, right? If the machines have only learned data from some sample space and not from some other space, then it means that the machine doesn't know what to do if it is faced with that unknown situation. Yeah, because it's not seen the data to model the world, that particular situation at all. And therefore, right, Weiner back then itself recommended, right, what is now today known as human in the loop systems. So this you would be hearing more and more with artificial intelligence, that because these algorithms can make mistakes, you need the human to be in the loop. So these are like some important systems, like on, so you would probably be aware of this COMPASS study on recidivism. It basically tries to predict a risk score that if a person is released on bail, will they commit a crime again? And then similarly, there are AI systems being used in recruitment, in jobs, AI systems being used for making loan applications, deciding insurance premiums. So in all of these, the recommendation is that humans need to be in the loop because machines can make mistakes. And Weiner raised these issues way back early on itself, right? Another issue is that machines, are they going to, right, to what extent can humans actually, even though the machines are making predictions, but to what extent can keeping humans in the loop is actually feasible? So because the machines will become faster and faster, and therefore, will humans really be able to keep up with the kind of explanations that the machines will generate for humans to influence them or to control the decision processes of all of this, right? So this is a view more based on data-driven intelligence. People like Julia Pearl and Levesque, they talk about the need for causal systems, that machines can really, you should start relying on decision making by machines only when you have figured out how to get machines to learn causal systems, right? So when machines are able to learn which variable causes what, then you're in a much better situation, that machines will be able to work in unknown, in situations that they've not seen before, because just data-driven machines will never be able to get to that level of satisfaction. In these kinds of things, looking at what all information can be datafied, what all information can be informationalized, that really affects, right, where you apply computers in the first place.